Well, hello my YouTube friend. I have been lately a little bit dormant on YouTube, mainly because I didn't have any more new scores coming to me, and also because Blade was in preparation, that thing explaining the other. I mean, usually before the show, I tend not to buy in order to be prepared to pull the trigger for the great pieces that I could possibly find on those shows. And that's exactly what I did, because this show was really nice. I had very nice deliveries, as you have seen probably on my YouTube video made with Stan Whitson. I also received a perfect delivery from Master Bob Cherzuola, which will be the matter of a future video. And also, I made some scores during the show. You know how it is. I mean, I've been in other shows and probably made other videos about the shows. So you have all different kinds of ways to make some scores during those shows. Either it's going to be deliveries, or you're going to make some scores at the lottery, or some guys will buy at the lottery and you will buy from them, or the auction, or, you know, or at the pit. I mean, there are several ways to get knives there. This is why you have to be prepared for this show. And this show this year has been hectic as usual, which is a good thing, because lately we all seen, you know, I was going to say the market going a little bit down, but it's just because of the price. I've talked about that on a previous video. People were getting mad with prices, wanted incredible prices. And I'm going to talk about that, about this one actually. Wanted incredible prices, which is not, we have to be, you know, to make our own regulation. Dealers, they will want to make money, so they will ask for crazy prices. They have to calm down a little bit. We, as collector, have to calm down a lot and don't expect to get a lot of money out of knives. This is a hobby. So mainly we should buy our knives, not expecting to make any kind of profit out of them. Enjoy them, and if ever we can resell them, if we want to, without a profit, that's fine. Even with a loss, that's fine. I mean, we pay for our pleasure. This is the only hobby that I know of where I can expect to get some money back, so that's perfect. So, you know, we should all think alike, and things will get better in the market, and it will grow back, because from as long as I can remember, I have always seen people collecting knives. I have collected knives, so it's not a trend. It's something that will stay. We just need to regulate ourselves. With that being said, it's already 3 minutes. Actually, it's a general video, because the marvel that I have in hands here is a SOUTHARD. Of course, I'm going to describe it, and while I'm rambling, you still have your eyes and you can appreciate the marvelous detail. Check that inside the milling. We're going to talk about this knife for sure. So yeah, Blade was incredible. A lot of people there, and it was a big circus as usual, and I missed, as usual, at least 80% of the tables I wanted to see. I mean, I have missed most of the table I wanted to see, most of the people I wanted to see, and for those of you who follow me here, oh man, you know, with the jet lag and all these things going on there, you cannot keep track of things. So for those of you that I missed there, I'm absolutely sorry, and I hope that you will be back at the gathering, and we will have more chance to chat and discuss about knives and enjoy the presence of each other. Now, why don't we talk about the knife? Yeah, so I said a lot of ways to get knives. So I had my deliveries. I won one lottery. I'm not lucky at the lottery, but also, like I said, I missed a lot of tables. So I don't know, maybe I won others, and I just didn't know. Who knows? Then, as I said, other way to get knives. I usually don't go really at the pit to trade or buy knives. I'd rather, you know, socialize with people there. So basically, the only other way for me to get a knife is to get from another collector who won one knife, and this is what happened with this beautiful SOUTHARD. And for that, also, I want to thank my buddy Steven, who allowed me, who is a focus man, not as me. I mean, he goes to the show, he knows exactly where to go. I'd love to be an organized man. I would make more, regular videos, and I will be, it will be easier for me to navigate in those shows. So Steven is really focused for himself and even for the others, because he knew who won that knife, and he knew that it was typically the knife that I would like to have. So he presented me the guy who won, and I talked him out to reason, because the guy, as usual, because of the craziness of the market sometimes, the guy was offering me like a crazy price, over almost 3 times the price he wanted at the lottery, which was totally insane. So I took some reason out of him, and we made a deal, and I got this marvel, which was, for me, honestly, the knife of the show. You know that I'm a little bit biased about Brad, but this knife, for me, stole the show. And for some reason, it was a lottery knife, because this is typically the knife you can expect to present in an auction. And this guy made some profit. I don't understand why Brad Southard wouldn't be the one to make the profit of his knife. If you put that knife in auction, this way you can open, the possibility, to the real collectors who really want that knife to bid on it, and to, give the money to Brad, other than a random buyer who will want to make some profit out of it. Again, if it's a lottery and a collector gets it for a nice price, that's fine by me, okay? But this is exactly the example of somebody who wins a lottery just to flip the knife and make a tremendous profit, where indeed this should be this profit should be for the maker. Whatever, it's just a mention. Now, why don't we talk about I honestly think that's going to be the weirdest and the most erratic video I've ever made. So we have here now 7 minutes we started a video about the knife. We have here a magnificent, you have seen it from the start, a magnificent Hanan from Brad. So the handle is a full, it's not Mokutai, it's the Knife Supply Timascus. So for some reason I think that Timascus it's either that or Brad knows how to work it better, but the colors, from what I see, are always more vivid with the Timascus than with the Mokutai, for some reason. People like Mokutai better sometimes because it has more contrast in between colors. This one is more like it's more overall blue, you see, or purple, so less contrast, but I think I'd like better the Timascus than the Mokutai, whatever. Check the contouring that is done here, and the work of milling that is done here around. Look at that. All those lines, absolutely gorgeous. Gorgeous. The work of the pivot, which is flush here, is insane. He started doing that recently, and I absolutely adore that. Like on the manual that I have with the zirconium pivot. Extraordinary. Look at those lines here. Following here the line of the the line of the lock, sorry. The cut here is just beautiful. Monroe does that also. I absolutely adore it. It's not like a regular relief cut. And actually, you don't need a lot here. It's just for the design, because mainly, as usual, Brad does a lot of milling inside. I'm going to try to show you that. Let me see. You see it here, the milling inside, which relieves the weight of the knife. It's a lightweight knife. You have a tremendous amount of milling, as on my manual. And on the other side, you have the cut here, as you can see. And other milling here. Yeah, you can tell here. Oh, imagine how lightweight it is when you see all the milling inside. So the relief cut is on the inside, and it gives, exactly like Monroe, it gives a very, very nice line on the lock. So the line is absolutely exquisite on the handle. The usual, the refinement that Brad Southard got the last years is incredible. When you look at his older knives, it's not as refined. Now it's really jewelry that he does. Check this clip that is well inserted here. So one screw is more than enough, because it's locked inside here. It's more than enough. to handle it in place. Beautiful clip in Mokuta. Check the work on this backspacer. It almost looks like the pattern of the epicenter on Todd Wexford's knife. Extraordinary. Now this blade. This blade, I have to talk about that. This is Damasteel, but the Damasteel that you will probably never find another time in your lifetime. Brad got this piece from an old maker, Anderson, if I remember correctly, who had like a couple of pieces like that of Damasteel, an old Damasteel, and he bought it from him. And, you see it has this kind of linear pattern that you you mostly never see on the Damasteel. And the guys from Damasteel were there. One of the guys from Damasteel actually was working there for the better part of for the last 10 years then. And they came there, they almost used the microscope, and they said that it's, of course, they confirmed that it's an old pattern. They don't even know who made that at that time, and they couldn't even reproduce that pattern. They were really amazed by this Damasteel. So that's a special mention. And when you know that kind of things, you know that you have in hand something really special. I would say just for the Damasteel. The rest is extraordinary. That story about the Damasteel makes it all for me. And as a matter of fact, I didn't have any kind of Damasteel in my collection as of now, and I'm coming back from Blade with two pieces in Damasteel. The one that I have from Stan Wilson, the non-flipper, and this one. And speaking about getting a special Damasteel, this one is just, first of all, when I saw it, that's the thing that was mesmerizing for me. Those linear lines, I like linear. I like randomness, sometimes, but this is something that speaks to my heart way more. And to know that is almost impossible to get another one like that is even more impressive for me. So I have here a knife from one of my favorite maker that has all the features that I like about knives. It's an extraordinary knife. It has some pieces of almost history here on the blade. It's how dressy as they can come. It is just a phenomenal score. Probably the most unexpected, because the other one are tremendous. The knife I got was made for me, specifically for me, by Bob Terzola, that I, of course, will make a video out of it. That was a delivery. It was expected at some point. The knives from Stan Wilson, they were expected at some point. This one was random. I didn't know this knife. I just discovered it at the show, and I missed it, of course, at the lottery because I didn't win. So, again, this could have been a loss. Going like, and if it was not for Steven, my lack of focus would have made me pass and miss this beauty. So I like this randomness here, and this, to me, it's a luck, because even if I paid good money for it, it's a luck. It could have gone to any other guy, and again, this was, for me, really the knife of the show. So I'm extraordinarily pleased about that. What can I say more about Brad? The knife itself feels so well in hand. It's so lightweight. And it's a knife that you can use for two reasons. First of all, it's Damasteel, so that's a steel. So definitely a user. The edge, it's just crazy sharp. So that is a blade that you can use. Then again, you have this finish, which is something that I don't understand. I don't know how Brad can get this finish, which is reflective, and as you can see, doesn't leave any fingerprints, and doesn't make the color fade. Usually with the grease of the finger, you're going to make the color fade. This is not fading. So this is titanium that is not fading. So that's something that you can carry. It's the dressiest of the dressiest knife, and yet something that you can definitely use, definitely carry. And as a matter of fact, I do carry that knife. And man, what a lightweight, and check that. All the edge here it's a pure slicer. Pure slicer, you can trust. You cannot pry, of course, but you can definitely use that. And the action is so sublime. The detent is crazy as usual. Look at the jimping here. It makes for a perfect flipper here. The lock is, look at this geometry. Perfect, early and secure. I have only good things to say about this knife, and we are heading to the 15 minutes, so we're gonna leave it at that. Mainly, it's an art knife that I can carry. It's something really rare for me. And with that being said, my friend, I'll leave it at that, and I'll catch you very soon for another video. Bye-bye. It was a pleasure.